chapter 6. My. What a good God.
Mercy endure forever. Hallelujah.
Oh God, and He's real. He's real. Oh, say Jesus is real to me. So many people doubt Him, but I know too much about Him. And that's why, I don't know about anybody else, that's why I love Him so. Because Jesus is real. He's real to me. Nehemiah chapter 6. Just one verse, verse 9. I'm reading from the New King James Version of the Bible. Nehemiah chapter 6. Hallelujah. Verse 9. Nehemiah 6. Go ahead and go to that table of contents. It's a new year. Hallelujah. We're going to walk through the table of contents in 2018. That's your goal. You're going to walk through it. Hallelujah. Till you know where everything is at. It reads this: for they were trying to make us afraid, saying, their hands will be weakened in the work, and it will not be done. Now therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. For they were all trying to make us afraid, saying their hands will be weakened in the work, and it will not be done. Now therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. Look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, I need God to strengthen my hands. Tell somebody else, I need God to strengthen my hands. I need God to strengthen my hands. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Strengthen my hands. 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 This whole month, Sundays and Wednesdays, we've been looking at this whole idea of all in. Everybody say all in. All in, and realizing that if there's any goal, any major goal, any small goal that we have in our lives that we are desiring to be able to achieve, that you and I have to be all in. It's going to take every bit of us, every bit of our minds, every bit of our hearts, every bit of our energy, our actions, that it's going to take every part of us to be able to get done and working in partnership with God to get done what we are believing and desiring for Him to be able to do in our lives. Every teaching, every message has been geared towards that, to build our capacity, to help us to be able to realize, for us first to be able to dream big and to think big, and to realize that God desires for us to be able to dream big and to believe big and to be bold about that thing. But even in that, in realizing that we have a part to play in the whole matter, let this be the year, let this be the year, and let this be the time in our lives that we have matured past the place where we stop putting everything on God and realize we play a part as well. Come on, look at your neighbor and say, He's talking to you. He's talking to you. He really is. That we have a part to play in the matter. Our job is not to overrun God. Our job is not to be God's boss. Our job is to work in partnership with God and what we are believing and desiring for Him to do in our lives. We talked at the beginning of this month about dreaming beyond our circumstances, looking at Joseph and how Joseph was able. He was in a tight place. He was in a tough place in his life, and his family is coming up against him because he's a dreamer and he's able to see things. What I love so much about that story with Joseph is that Joseph realized, and he was trying to get them to realize it as well, that what I am dreaming about, what I am seeing does not just begin and end with me, but God is doing something bigger in this. God is preparing something bigger. God is trying to position me in a place so that when our family and other friends don't have, I will be in the place of authority to be able to make sure that we have. Joseph was able to dream beyond where he was, and many of us, we get stuck at where we are right now, and we stop dreaming, and we stop hoping, and we forget about that expected end that God has for our life. This is what you have to understand, saints of God, that what you may be experiencing, what you may be going through right now has an expiration date. Okay, maybe I'm not going to church. I said you have to constantly remind yourself that what I'm in right now, what I'm going through right now is going to end sooner or later. Oh boy, how I would like for it to be able to end right now. But what you also have to understand, that though it may not end right now, because you have prayed big, because you have prayed bold, God is using what I like to call the gap season. Everybody say the gap season. From the time I put my request in, and from the time before God answers it, I'm in that gap season where God is molding me and shaping me and preparing me for the big things that I'm asking Him to do in our lives. Okay, if you were here on Wednesday night, that's why you can't miss midweek, because I shared this on Wednesday night, that what good is it for us to pray big prayers and have small character? Because if we pray big prayers and God answers our big prayers, those big prayers will crush us because we did not allow ourselves to be developed in that gap season when God was trying to mold us and fashion us and correct us and make us what He desires for us to be. We have to be able to dream beyond our circumstances. You cannot allow life to dictate your dreams. You cannot allow your situations to stop you from expecting and having hope and believing that sooner or later this thing is going to turn around. Sooner or later things are going to get better in my life. Sooner or later things are going to get better for me. But whatever you do, don't stop dreaming. Keep on dreaming. You keep on having hope. Even if it's in a hopeless situation and others around you say, man, you crazy. You should have walked out of that marriage a long time ago. You should have given up. But you just know that you know that in the midst of everything that's going on, that God is preparing, that God is doing something bigger than you. Oh, since we have to get there, we have to stop allowing life to tell us when we can or when we cannot dream. We have to stop allowing life just to run us ragged. We have to get to the place where we will dream beyond where we are. Stop looking at right now and start thinking about your future and the plans and the purposes that God has for your life. Sephora came right behind me and talked about discipline. Oh my goodness, we love the Word of God. We want to shout, but when you get to talk about human responsibility and you start talking about discipline and self-control, there is a holy hush in the kingdom. Oh God, because we don't want to hear what part we have to play. We don't want to hear about what God is requiring of us. And if we are going to accomplish anything, not just this year, but anything in life, it's going to require discipline. Let the church say discipline. Let the church say discipline again. One more time for the Holy Ghost, discipline. It is going to require discipline, which means that I'm going to sometimes have to make myself do things that I necessarily may not want to do. Oh, you can run and you can shout and you can go from revival to revival and wait for a prophet to prophesy to you about being debt free. You're going to come into a lot of money. But what you fail to realize, what that prophet failed to tell you, is that before you get that blessing, God is going to test you to see, can you be disciplined in what you have right now before I give you something else? Oh my goodness. Can you discipline yourself to create a budget every week, every month that you can be able to do? You discipline yourself. But you got a refrigerator full of food. But you don't go at Applebee's at 9 o'clock when it's half off the appetizers and say, God, I'm trying to be a good steward of my finances. Then I'm going when it's half off appetizers, God, you know. When you got a refrigerator full of food, when all you have to do is just get up and cook. Discipline. Oh my goodness, I can talk all the day. You all know I'm the first one to make fun of myself and tease myself about my stomach and all of the other stuff. But until I get tired of looking at my stomach, until I get tired and realizing that before I even walk into a room, my stomach beats me there. Until I discipline myself and say, no, Swims, you don't need another plate of food. Nothing is going to change. Here's the thing about discipline, saints of God. Until you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, nothing's going to change. Until you get tired of the same thing and experience the same results. I don't care how much you pray. I don't care how many tongues you prayed in. I don't care how good you dance. Until you get sick of tired and being sick and tired and say, hey, I have to do something about the situation that I'm in right now. That, my friends, is when things are going to begin to change in your life. Oh, there was a real silence in the kingdom. It's not until we get tired of being tired and getting the same results that we've been getting and dealing with the same stuff that we've been dealing with. I made up in my mind, all right, man, twins, you're going to have to push yourself. You're going to have to push yourself because there is more in you and what God wants to do in your life. There is more in you just in being a pastor, a husband, and a father. I need to tap into those things and push you so that you can be able to realize the more that's in you. But in order for you to be able to experience that, you're going to have to discipline yourself, sir. Start getting things. Discipline means I got to start getting some order in my life. Oh, wow. Keep talking about this stuff. Because here's what I've come to find out. We get so spiritual that we miss the practical stuff. We're running around the church, tear a church up for tear a church up. But we miss the practical things that needs to be done in our lives and getting some order and some structure in our lives so that we can be able to walk into the promises that God has for our lives. He has a plan. He has purpose for our lives. He's waiting for us to dream beyond where we are. He's waiting for us to discipline ourselves to get some things in order. And I love it, I love it, I love it. We shared last week, oh my goodness, that we have to pray big and we got to pray bold. We got to pray big and we got to pray bold. Look at your neighbor, say, neighbor, pray big. Pray bold. I like what Proverbs, I believe, was 28:1 says, that we have to be bold as a lion. Oh my goodness, that's how I want to be when I approach the throne of grace. That when I come to God, because get this, I don't have to pray small prayers to a big God. God is big enough that he can be able to handle any size prayer request I give him. I don't have to chisel my prayer down. Oh, that's God can't. He can't do that. Let me just go ahead and just take some of that off because he can't. God, he busy. He trying to go past us in here. He can't do all that. Let me get all this stuff off. And what we end up doing, we chisel down our prayers. We chisel down our prayers. And when we chisel down our prayers and our approach, when we come to God, what we're really doing is we are diminishing the size of God in our lives. I told you all on Wednesday, the size of your God would dictate the size of your prayers. The size of your God would dictate the size of your prayers. If you see God small in your life, you're going to pray small. Say that again. If you see God small in your heart, in your mind, you're going to pray that way. And when you pray that way, you pray with a mixture of doubt and uncertainty in there. And you say, well, God, if you can, Lord, I know you got a lot going on. I mean, you up there just busy with the angels in heaven, Father. There's so many needs down here on earth. If you're able to, God, I just hope that you can be able to do it. No. When we pray big and we pray bold, saints of God, we have to pray with confidence and expectation in knowing that God is able. Why are we living beyond the privilege that God has for our lives? Why are we living below the privileges that God has for our lives? James said the best. Listen, we're jealous and we're envy and we're having arguments with other people and we're getting into fights and we want to ruin relationships all because we're jealous of what somebody else has. And James ends it by saying, you're jealous because you never asked God, because if you ask him, he will do it for you. We're messing up relationships with folks. And we're mad at God because we think that God owes us because he looked out on somebody else and skipped us. When we don't take the time and approach the same God that they approached. And say, God, you know where I am. You know my situation. You know what's going on, God. Can you please intervene and step in and do this for me? And if we're going to pray big, we're going to pray bold, saints of God, we are going to have to pray with expectation. We have to make sure that our hearts and our motives are in the right place. Because if our hearts and our motives are in the wrong place, our prayers are going to be delayed because God is always always checking. He's always checking the condition of our hearts. He's always looking to see, why are we praying this particular prayer? Why do we want this? Why do we want that? Because he wants to make sure that the blessing that we're asking of him does not just begin and end with us, but that we are channels where God can be able to funnel the blessings through us, that other people can be blessed as well. Let's adjust that air just a little bit, sir. Give me a little cold. Okay, hallelujah. I'm about to go, this bald head problem, get a little cold. I'm going to get my hat on and get a bald head problem. Amen. Those with forehead here, you got the issue. You can stand with bald head problems. But here in Nehemiah, you all, if you've been here for some time, you know I love the book of Nehemiah. And Nehemiah encompasses all of it. Nehemiah, I'm telling you, he from start to finish, if I just took this series and just preached on Nehemiah, that would have been good enough. But as we brought in the other characters, if you look at Joseph, if you look at Jabez, if you look at prayer, if you look at discipline, everything we've discussed, Nehemiah models that. Take the time, I'm telling you, from chapter 1 all the way to the end, take the time just to read the book of Nehemiah, because it will bless you. If you're a leader, read the book of Nehemiah. If you're a believer, read the book of Nehemiah. If you're a person with breath in your body, read the book of Nehemiah, because it will bless you. So many key principles in there that it will bless you beyond measure. I love the story of Nehemiah, because this boy who was just simply just a man, just an ordinary guy. Chapter 1. Gets news that the walls of Jerusalem have been destroyed. Now, get this. Historians say that Nehemiah has never seen the walls. But his heart is burdened because the walls are down. He realized if the walls are down, that the people are vulnerable. They can be open to the enemy. They can be open to so many different things, that they need the wall to be able to cover them and to be able to protect them. So Nehemiah does what any believer should do, that he begins to pray to God and ask God, what do I do? How are you going to turn this thing around? And Nehemiah begins to pray to God, asking God to solve the problem. And get this, what Nehemiah did not expect to happen. Nehemiah did not expect that he was going to be the answer to his own prayers. The burden was still there on his heart. He had the burden for the people and the condition that they were in. And as he's praying, God lets him know, Nehemiah, I love your prayer. I love your heart. You are the man that I want to be able to use to start the process of the walls being put back together in Jerusalem. Here's the thing that you have to understand that we're going to see right here, that we're going to see here in the life of Nehemiah. On the screen, it's going to be up there in just a moment. You have to realize this. I want to get this out of the way real quick because it's real important. You can't attempt anything and not expect interference from the enemy. Oh God. You cannot expect to do any good work and don't think the enemy is not going to interfere. Oh, it was not until you got your mind focused and got your mind prepared and said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to accomplish that, I'm going to put this in place. This is the vision for my family, this is the vision for my health, this is the plan for my marriage, for my finances. And just as you said that and put those things into play, the enemy showed his head. Sometimes that's how you know when you're on the right track. When you get some disturbances from the enemy. So here we go. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. In chapter 2, now Nehemiah gets permission from the king. He's a cupbearer to the king. Now you have to understand, when Nehemiah got the news about the condition of the walls of Jerusalem, he was walking around. He wasn't himself. He wasn't just his happy, chipper self in a good mood. He wasn't skipping around as he was bringing the king his food, bringing his cup. And the king got nervous. You have to understand, the purpose of the cupbearer is to be able to taste the king's drink or to eat the food before the king eats it. So if anybody has to be in a good mood, it needs to be Nehemiah, because he's watching him to see this joker walking around here. He ain't smiling in a few days. He ain't laughing. He ain't making no jokes. What's going on, Nehemiah? Because I'm not eating or drinking nothing else until you tell me what's going on. So Nehemiah begins to pour his heart out. And he begins to tell the king about what's going on and how the walls of Jerusalem are down and how the people are in disgrace and that something needs to be done and that he feels compelled by God, that he's the one that God wants to use to be able to make some moves. And so the king says, hey, I'm giving you permission. I'm going to give you some favor. I'm going to give you some paperwork, and I want you to go ahead and do what you believe God has called you to do. In Nehemiah chapter 3, the building project begins. Nehemiah gets some people that had a heart and a mind to work. That's all you need sometimes. You need a heart and a mind to work. If things are going to happen in your life this year or for the rest of your life, if things are going to happen in your marriage, in your finances, in your health, in your family, you got to have the mind to work, and you must have the will to work in order to be able to get the job done. So Nehemiah, the building project begins, and then in chapter 4, as he's doing it, I'm telling you, you can't attempt to do anything and don't expect interference from the enemy. Just as Nehemiah is starting to build, now you have some jokers coming along talking crazy. Oh, Nehemiah, this is a waste of time what you're doing. There's no point. Just leave the walls alone. Let the people be in disgrace. There's no point in you doing this. There's no way. This is too great of a work. Because Nehemiah realized everything that was getting ready to happen. He realized that in order for me to be able to get this done, I got to have a plan. And so the enemy opposed the plan that he has. Get this. The enemy will never oppose you when you're trying to figure stuff out and just throw something together. The enemy will oppose you when you have a plan that you're about to initiate and execute and put into place. It was when, after he came and saw the walls of Jerusalem, the Bible says that he waited until night and he brought nobody with him, only the beast that he rode in on, and he sat there in the midst of the mess and began to dream beyond his circumstance. He sat there and assessed the situation and began to dream and began to visualize and began to think about what was about to happen and how things were going to turn around. I'm telling you, saints of God, sometimes we have to take a step back and we have to go back and realize and assess the situation and see how much of a mess our lives are in, and to begin start dreaming beyond our circumstance of what tomorrow is going to look like. Because it's when he starts dreaming that he develops a plan. And it's when he develops a plan that the enemy begins to oppose him. Their job was to stop Nehemiah and the people from building that wall with everything that they had in them. Their job was to stop them from rebuilding that wall. Their job was to stop them from rebuilding that wall. And the enemy's job is to stop you from trying to make your marriage better. The enemy's job is to stop you from trying to have a kingdom family. He's trying to stop you as you're trying to excel in your health, in your finances, in school, whatever it may be. His job is to interfere and to get you so distracted that you will stop what you're doing and entertain his foolishness. So Nehemiah doing it, and he realizes over in chapter 5 that it's not just enough for us to rebuild the wall. The people need help. So what's happening now? You have the poor, you have the wealthy Jews taking advantage of the poor Jews, charging them extreme taxes. Just not giving them a break at all, charging them extreme taxes. Where now the poor Jews are having to give their children over to captivity, over to the wealthy Jews. So Nehemiah steps in and he lets them know that this is not right, this is wrong, you don't need to do this, this is not the way to go. So they began to turn those things around. Then we get in chapter 6 where we are right now. Now Nehemiah is really catching some personal attacks. In chapters 1 through 5, they were saying stuff against Nehemiah, but it was really about them as a whole, as the team. But once they realized, man, we're not getting this team to stop. They just not stopping, because what Nehemiah did was he said, okay, guys, we're going to get this job done. We're going to get this work done. No matter what comes up, no matter what comes up, we're going to get this job done. So as they were in position, Nehemiah had them in position on certain places on the wall. And while they were in position, he said, I need you to have one hand working And the other hand, I need you to have a weapon just in case the enemy wants to come and start some stuff, because we cannot take our eyes off of the vision. We cannot take our eyes off of the mission. We can't stop doing what we're doing. So we're going to be prepared to be able to work and whoop some tail if we got to at the same time. Because Nehemiah was going to get the job done. So once the enemy realized, once Sanballat and Tobiah and their crew realized that they were not going to be able to stop the team as a whole, now they send personal attacks. Oh my goodness, I got to stop right there and just pause for a minute. Don't you all realize, you all have to realize, I hope you guys realize this, that when the enemy, as a church, when the enemy cannot stop us as a whole, as a church, from fulfilling the vision and the mission that God has given us, he then aims directly for the leader. Because if he can get the leader out, the flock is going to scatter. So now what the enemy is doing in the life of Nehemiah, he is coming to him directly and personally trying to take him out. And once you read, I got to hurry up because my time is almost out. I need you all to read this because it's so vital, so important to what's happening here. Nehemiah, every time, 4 to 5 attempts, the enemy came trying to get him to stop what he was doing. One prophet came and said, hey, come on to the temple with me. You'll be safe if you come with me to the temple. Nehemiah used something that all of us need to use. It's about to be on the screens in a minute. All of us need the gift of spiritual discernment. And there was a holy hush in the crowd. Because I know, all of us, we want the gift. We want the gift of tongues. We want the gift of interpretation of tongues. We want the gift of administration. We want the gift of giving. Even though we won't give to God, we want the gift of giving. We want the gift of faith. We want all of it. But we don't. We fail to miss the piece on discernment. Discernment is the wisdom to distinguish truth from error. What they failed to realize, what the enemy failed to realize, that Nehemiah was no fool. How was Nehemiah a fool? If you spent as much time in prayer like Nehemiah did, there was no way possible you could ever be fooled by the enemies and his schemes and his tricks. When you look at the text, it says, every time the enemy came against Nehemiah, every time the enemy came with a scheme, every time they tried to intimidate him, what Nehemiah would do was he would take his stance from the beginning and let them know, I'm not stopping what I'm doing. They came and told him, hey, why don't you just come on down and have a conversation with us? Let's go to Panera and get a cup of coffee and just talk it all over. Now, y'all know they ain't had no Panera back then. Y'all like, yeah, you ain't have no Panera. I don't want to see, they ain't got no Panera in this time. Y'all, come on. They ain't got no Panera. Don't have Panera. They ain't have a Panera. So he's trying to get him to come down. Nehemiah said, no, why should I stop working on this to come down to you and deal with your foolishness? So when the prophet comes and says, hey, why don't you come with me and go to the temple? And then another one came and said, why don't you come with me and go to the city called Ono? And he said, no, I'm not going there because you would take me 25 miles away from our mission, 25 miles away from our vision. And what I'm trying to do, if I'll go to you and come to your level and do what you want me to do, I will miss out on what I am designing to do right here. And some of us, we have to get to the point in our lives and realize that what I'm working on is big and I cannot stop, I cannot come down, I cannot entertain, I cannot deal with anybody or anything that's going to get me distracted from the mission that I have right now. And let me tell you what's going to help us to stay on course and to be able to get the job done is going to be spiritual discernment. Everybody say spiritual discernment. Because spiritual discernment is bathed in wisdom. It's bathed in wisdom from God. When you look at the story of Nehemiah, he prayed. He continued to pray. He continued to seek God before he made a move. He talked to God when he got mad at his enemy. He talked to God about his enemy because he needed a God to intervene in every situation in his life, because he realized if God does not intervene, I am doomed to fail. My mission, my vision, my marriage, everything will be down in the dumps if I don't get God to intervene and to help me in what I'm trying to do. We need the wisdom of God so that we can be able to distinguish, okay, do I need to get engaged in this conversation? Do I need to collaborate with this person? Because you realize when you're working on something big and you're trying to get something together, you do realize you will attract some folks who will want to be a part of what's going on in your life. And if you don't have discernment, you won't realize that these jokers are there to distract you and to keep you from fulfilling the vision and the mission and the task that God has you on. When you lack discernment, we will fall prey to stupid conversations dealing with silly people that gets us off task. And we delay the progress that we should have because we stop working. So Nehemiah is dealing with all this personal attack. He's dealing with all this personal attack. I mean, they're coming, they're talking, they're sending letters. And the thing about they're sending letters, they sent letters. The king will send a letter. And when the king will send a letter, the letter will be folded. The letter will be sealed up so that whoever's supposed to go to, they were the ones to be the opening. But now this letter is an open letter that's going on. Everybody's reading it and it's talking about Nehemiah, about how he's never going to be able to get the job done. But look at verse 9. I'm wrapping up because I'm getting on y'all nerves. Y'all ready to go to Corral and go to Applebee's and get you something to eat when you should go home and cook. But let me just read this real quick. Nehemiah chapter 6 verse 9. It says like this: for they are trying to make us afraid. Here it is. The enemy can do anything. He wants to put fear in your heart into thinking that there's no way you can do this. That there's no way you can accomplish this. This is too big. This is beyond your level. This is beyond your capacity. There is no way that you can be able to accomplish this and to be able to achieve this. So they came trying to put fear into their hearts, trying to get them to stop. They said their hands will be weakened in the work and it will not get done. But look at what Nehemiah does. I know y'all about tired of me talking about prayer, but everything that we need to be successful in life as ministry is in the womb of prayer. So I'm going to keep talking about it as long as the Bible keeps talking about it. So it says right there, what does Nehemiah do to handle his haters? He prayed. He said, now therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. Can I tell you why your haters are winning? Can I tell you why your haters are succeeding? Because you keep dealing with your haters in the flesh, and you're not allowing your daddy to deal with your haters. Nehemiah said, all right, God, before I go off on these shoulders, I need you to intervene and give me your power to be able to get the job done. Nehemiah shows us, saints of God, that in order for us to be able to achieve any goals, anything that we have in life this year, in life in general, that we want to be able to accomplish and be able to get done, we need the power of God to operate on the inside of us. Why? Because when the power of God operates on the inside of us, yes, we will have some oppositions, but we will realize that greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. And that's my fuel to keep going. That's my energy to keep going. That's the thing that keeps me pushing when I want to stop, when I realize God is working in me. Nehemiah understood that I won't be able to get this done without the help of God. Here's my issue. Why are people who profess the name of Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior and the head of their lives attempting to do big things on their own? Why when it fails. Nehemiah understood what I'm doing. This great work. This is beyond me. Nehemiah understood. I need the help of God to be able to help me to do what I cannot do on my own. I need the power of God to rain down on the inside of me, to give me the boldness, to give me the wisdom, to give me the revelation, to give me the insight, to give me the discernment, to give me the strength and everything that I need to be able to get the job done. Never forget, I started cutting grass at home. I told myself I didn't want to cut grass. I don't like, even today, I don't like doing outside work. I just get sleepy when we talk about this outside work. I get sleepy. Don't like doing it. I told myself, I said, when I grow up, I had my own job. I didn't say this so my father could hear me. I knew better. But I said to myself, amen, in my private time with God, that when I grow up and get older and have my own job and have my own place, I ain't cutting nobody's grass. But when I was in Willie Swim's house, I had to cut his grass. And so, Father's always been very particular about his grass. Father loved doing, he's a country boy, he loved outside work, he loved cutting the grass and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I want to be inside. Then let me go downstairs and play church. That was my excuse. Then I'm go downstairs and play church. I'll come back and do it later. And I came upstairs and stay down there playing church because I want to cut the grass. So eventually he found out what I was doing, so he made me come upstairs so I could be able to cut the grass outside. So I'm out there, I'm cutting the grass. I'm learning how to cut the grass. And so my father wanted the lines to be a certain way. So I'm cutting. I'm thinking I'm doing a good job. I get distracted. I'm out there. I see that girl from the bus stop. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm wearing circles. I messed up, so I get back on track. I'm pushing. He's like, chill. I'm like, okay. Doing it. I get distracted again by something else. I'm hungry or something. 5 minutes and I'm hungry again or something, so I get distracted. Making all of these lines after. So my father comes out there. And what he does, he said, I'm going to show you how you need to cut the grass. So my father empowered me by standing behind me, putting his hands on top of my head. And he pushed it. And get this, when I was going, the same girl from the bus stop came out again. Look, keep yourself. I wonder what she's doing. I'm playing. I'm joking. Hey, if y'all watch the news tonight, and they say we found the bald head guy, y'all saw interceding for your pastor right there. So I'm doing it. Father got his hands on top of my head. I get distracted. And I almost reared off. But every time I was about to rear off, my father's hands were tight. And so when he tightened his hands, that urged me to get back on track and do what I have to do and make sure that those lines were straight. And every time I tried to get off track again, his hands were tight until I was able to learn how to do it on my own. But get this. Even when I began to do it on my own and my father was not there, even though he was not there physically, he was there at the same time. Because when I would go and I felt myself getting on track, that same urge would come along and I would remember that when he was stretching my hands and helping me to be able to keep on track and keep going straight with the line. I got to tell you this, you need God's help. In every area of your life. Do you realize divorce rates are higher amongst Christians and unbelievers? You realize that there are a lot of believers who are in debt but walking around looking good and smelling good? Living paycheck to paycheck. If their check is off by $1, they can lose their place, lose their car. Big things that we're we're attempting to do, but why attempt to do them on our own?
Wow.
When we have a God who is willing to be there, to strengthen our hands, to help us to do
Thank you, God.
what we cannot do on our own. Whatever your goals are for this year, whatever things that you're trying to attempt in life in general, it won't be done without the help of God. We need the power of God to enable us to do what's impossible to do on our own. But with Him, it's possible. Don't do it by yourself where you don't have to. Don't have to learn the hard way where you don't have to. When all you have to do is trust God and allow Him to lead and direct your steps. Hallelujah. Come on and put those hands together. Listen, we get ready to get out of here, but we don't want to dare leave here this morning and not give someone the opportunity to be able to accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. Come on, worship team. We offer Christ to you. We don't offer you religion. We don't offer you denomination, but we offer you Jesus Christ.